Alright, we're on the play for the third and final round, playing for 2 and 1. We keep this on the play. Just going to go turn 2 Mannequin, turn 3 Suspend, and then take it from there. Wall of Roots is also pretty good. I'm going to play the Mannequin first, because if I wanted to activate the Wall of Roots for mana next turn, I'd have to take counters off it, so I might as well conserve those. Alright, let's go ahead and suspend. Looks like he might be holding up Mana Leak or something, which this plays around pretty nicely. So let's see if the suspend works. Cast. See if he wants to Mana Leak this or whatever. If he Mana Leaks, I wouldn't get to draw a card at least. Okay. Nothing happens. Alright, so let's start the party off by attacking for 3. Actually, we attack for 4, because I'm not going to need the extra mana. Let's lead off with Wall of Roots, because that's the one I don't mind getting countering as much. And I'll play Doorkeeper. I have to imagine he's got a Mana Leak. Otherwise he just had nothing to do on the first 3 turns. Or dissolve maybe. Maybe he would have dissolved the Nantuko. Okay. Condescend makes perfect sense. Guess he could have condescended the Wall of Roots as well, but I will not pay 2. He does get to scry. Bottom, bottom. Okay. So we did have a nice start in terms of mana production, but we actually don't have much going on here. Funny enough. Like here, the best we can do is attack for 3. We'll have swords next turn at least. But we are going to need something else to kind of get going here, because he still has a lot of cards in hand. We've kind of flooded a little bit. Just kind of my concern, because like all this extra mana production we have. We've essentially drawn 9 mana sources here for like 2 quote-unquote threats. Nothing from him. Okay. Just keep sending him with the Shaman. He didn't want to attack, he didn't want to block. Not going to use my swords right now. This is like a flash thing, I'll just Swords to Plowshares it. He will get to gain some life though. I don't want him to draw 4 cards. It's a pretty good card though. Play another Wall of Roots. And hopefully eventually we draw something to do. Assault Formation would be pretty good. One of our rare dragons. Jesse and Thief, that's not going to do much on this board. Prowess does mean if he has an instant he could ambush my Shaman though. We're still not drawing anything. I'm still going to attack here. Still not blocking it. Just give me anything. I'll be happy. the weak takes that down. That's pretty good. He attacks with it. It might not work out as well for him. So now I just get to trade for a mannequin. Okay, is that combat trick? Fair enough. He had to use kind of a semi-premium removal spell though. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but that 5/5 is going to be a problem for the rest of this game. Just play out 2 bodies. Pass. He's at 11, so maybe we can race him with this Phantom Monster. But he still has 3 cards in hand, so I'm not super thrilled about my chances here. Unless I draw something pretty good. We are still drawing to a fair number of removal spells, I guess. But that's also assuming he doesn't play anything else we have to answer. But I will take 5 here. Could double block, but that has risk of ruin involved. And like I said, I might be able to race with this Phantom Monster. Lotus Cobra's fine. Zone Phantom Monster, that's less fine. Come on, something big. Alright, that'll work. So now it's actually an interesting question of what I cast this Claustrophobia on. Because I can cast it on the Ceratok. But there's a real possibility that I want to just cast it on the Phantom Monster and try to race with my own. So what happens if I do that? I need 4 attacks to kill him with the Phantom Monster. He needs 2 to kill me with this, but I can block it. I can chump it multiple times. This is also assuming that he doesn't draw an answer to my Phantom Monster or play like a bigger flyer down the road. But I think if he did, he would have played one this turn. I guess if it's a removal spell, he might not have, but there's not very many he could have. I think I can race this. This gives me a higher chance of losing, but also a higher chance of winning, which sounds contradictory. Maybe it is, but I think this is the spot where if nothing changes on this board, it's the correct play. So here's hoping I am not making a colossal error. Because like if he was to play something else problematic down the line, and I had used Claustrophobia here, I probably would have been in trouble no matter what. He might be flooded out though. Oh, unless he's making white mana, that's also possibly a problem. Is this like an Ivy Elemental? That's also a problem, because that has trample. Alright, let's draw. That's not what we needed. So what needs to happen here for me to win? I need to draw like Assault Formation. Would that get the job done? I would need to pump this up twice, which would cost me 8 mana total, so we would have enough if we top decked it. Do I have enough to survive on the current board if I attack with my Phantom Monster? I can soak up 5 points of trample, I can block here and take 9, so I would survive. Alright, I'm playing to my outs. You will get to draw a card with the Jessian Thief, unfortunately. But we gotta do what we gotta do. Alright, fingers crossed. I think we have just one out. Come on. That will not do it. Alright, well, the good news is we probably would have lost no matter what we did there with that Claustrophobia, because he would have had just another big monster that I wouldn't be able to answer. Well, maybe that's not entirely true. If I'd put that there, traded off Phantom Monsters, but again, like, how am I winning this game is the question. Anyway, didn't quite work out in our favor there. 2 mana heavy, not threat heavy enough. So maybe that's worth looking at here when we go into boarding. The cards I really need to draw here are like Jugon, Kaiga, Aerialist, Assault Formation. So maybe I even consider bringing the other Assault Formation in. That's a possibility. Mannequin has still not impressed me that much. Frostlinks is okay. It's kind of just a means to an end. Maybe on the draw we will like it better. I like the white spells. I don't want to bring in any additional white spells though. Didn't see anything else I need to do. Aerial Predation. He is blue. We saw just the Phantom Monster, which I don't think is good enough on its own, but if I saw something else in the next game, I might consider bringing it in also. But we'll stick with this for now. I will play first. Aw, man, this hand is so close to being amazing. We have to throw it back. Ugh. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one. Spider on the bottom. Hopefully find a couple lands on top. Presumably island first. Oh, not great. Okay. Alright, that's better than nothing. So at least I'll get to spend my Nantuko Shaman next turn. But this means we're going to be doing nothing to affect the board for the next 2 turns. Yep, that's a good one. Alright, let's suspend. We are in trouble. I could have cast it face up to try to block that Jessian Thief, but that's super unlikely to work. And we really need the card draw right now, because we're so far behind. Yep. See what we find with the Shaman. Okay, not the worst thing in the world. Let's play Wall of Roots, play Chancery. Next turn we'll have a lot more options. And we do have the board mostly locked up here. I'm just assuming that things are not going to go super well for us here. Because he still has a million cards in hand. We're just like a step behind this game. It's funny, because I've mentioned before in one of my previous videos that I don't think this is a very aggressive format, but I'm starting to understand that it is kind of a tempo-oriented format, wherein like you don't have to be like super aggressive, but you do need to add to the board every turn on turns like 2, 3, 4. Otherwise stuff like this happens, a card like Jessian Thief goes out of control. Your opponent's internal strategies, if you're not disrupting them in some way, can really get out of hand. That being said, our hand is still good. If we can play Jugon next turn, and it resolves, maybe good things can happen. Everyone's coming in. Well, my blocks are pretty obvious here. Oh, damage happens. That went better than expected. Kinda surprised by that attack from him. Could have also blocked Wall of Roots on the Ceratok and tried to trade for the Jessian Thief, but Prowess makes that a lot worse, and that's something that could have gone very wrong. That was the safe block. I guess I shouldn't have glossed over that, but that definitely was something I had in mind. Right, him leaving up 2 mana makes me a little nervous. So I don't actually need to really cast my Jugen this turn. Because I have the board locked up, I can just play Wall of Roots and hold up Mana Leak, which is pretty good. I have 7 mana right now. So next turn I can even Mana Leak a counterspell. Let's just play Wall of Roots. I could also play Doorkeeper, but that would force me to tap low. Maybe that's worthwhile though, because I kind of want to use the Mana Leak to protect my Jugen. So I think that makes sense to me. This also gives me kind of a clock, which could let me turn the corner faster if the board doesn't change significantly here. It's only bad if he plays some big threat that I can't answer. But I think just forcing this Jugen through should put me in a good position here. He's leaving up a lot of mana, again making me nervous. So maybe I just play like the Aerialist instead. It could also look suspicious if I use my Wall of Roots to pay for the Jugen, suspiciously leaving up the Chancery. Let's see, he could play around it by... Let's see, if I do that, he has to Condescend for 3, which means he would have 2 mana open, so Mana Leak would work. So I think it's still worthwhile to do it that way. Yeah, let's just cast Jugen. I'm pretty sure he has a Condescend. If it's Mana Leak, so be it. I just don't love that this telegraphs Mana Leak. Okay, that worked. I'm gonna counter that flash thing if that's what he's got. No, he just doesn't have anything. Okay. And I would do that because I saw Hunt the Weak from him, and Hunt the Weaking that with Jugen would have been real good. Even though that card isn't actually that great on this board. Actually, that's not even that true. It attacks through all my 4s if he had another way to deal with Jugen. So now we have Repeal on the mind, so I will hold up mana for that as well, for the Mana Leak. So I could use Doorkeeper here, but I actually don't want to play into Repeal. Maybe that's not true though. Yeah, let's just go ahead and mill him. He can Repeal if he wants. I can just replay it. He just didn't have it. There's a Condescend. Okay, so this seems like a good turn to just play the Riverwheel Aerialist after attacking for Cinco. Two, 4, 5, 6. Aerialist. Pass the turn with Mana Leak up again. Yeah, I figured there was a Repeal coming. So I'll just Mana Leak that. really have to, but it does give him outs to find the real answer. So I'll slow him down a little bit, and it's a big tempo hit. It could lower my clock by 1, neither of which I like. This forces the onus on him to find something. This game started out looking not too good for us, but I guess his hand just didn't come together, question mark. Like, him playing the Ceratalk on turn 4 ended up working out really well for us. If he'd actually held up mana for like a Condescend or something, this game would have been much harder to win, I think. He just can't do anything. Alright. Well, let's chip in for 9. And then pass the turn. Very strange game. I always felt like he had some kind of plan going on, just based on how coyly he was keeping up mana, but I guess he just didn't have anything. Alright, repeal on that. I can still present lethal this turn by playing 2 spells and triggering Prowess twice. Is that worth it? Possibly. Can't block that. Just mill him, because why not? Ooh, hello. So yeah, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's just attack. Play Jugen again, not show him anything else. There's no way he wins this one. And this way I can maybe see more of his deck. 3, tap like this. Oh, buddy, I've got some bad news for you. LOL. Yeah, I just had to do it. That's pretty good. Mana drain on mana drain. You don't get to see that very often in Limited. So, did I see anything that changes any of my decisions here? Like I said, Frostlynx is a little better on the draw. I still haven't seen many flyers, so maybe we can consider cutting like Netcaster Spider. Although he does have Phantom Monster, and he could still have others that I haven't seen. Alright, well at least we know about mana drain now. That's pretty funny. Do I want to keep both of my assault formations? There's a good chance. Like I said, the threats are kind of important in this matchup, so we can turn the corner as fast as possible when the opportunity arises. Maybe we can cut Nantuko Shaman on the draw, which is pretty slow. So is Amass the Components, but Amass the Components I like because of Mnemonic Wall. Although I do also like that the Nantuko Shaman can block Crown Ceratalk, which a lot of our walls cannot. I guess we can block with Sultai Flare and Mnemonic or Phantom Monster. It's not amazing. I think this is fine though. I'm not playing either of these two. There's a chance I just want to cut the assault formation. I want to have threats though. I don't know. Yeah, let's try this. I think this makes sense to me. Who will win the blue-green mana drain mirror is the question of the day. I'll tentatively keep this hand. Do need to draw some lands, but We can do some things. Ooh, that could be good. That's a good card. It's not that much better than a mana accelerant, a generic mana accelerant, but slightly better for the most part. Didn't use his mana, that's interesting. Which tells me that might be mana drain that he's representing. Keep that in mind. Alright, good news is we're drawing lands, so I don't need to do anything yet. We are taking some hits from the Lotus Cobra, but that is not my primary concern. Gonna cast something. Phantom Tiger. Yeah, let's mana leak that. He does still have Condescend available to him, which is the most likely thing that he's representing here. So why don't we... I really don't want to play into Condescend, but I also don't love not doing anything to affect the board. Let's just play Assault Formation. Hold up Mana Drain. But I don't know how useful Mana Drain is going to be here on this board. Come on, just tap out. You know you want to. This is actually a very interesting situation. It's pretty funny. No, both of us know that the other person has Mana Drain. Oh, this is going to go phenomenally for me if he's tapping out. Yeah, this might just end the game. I'm just going to get to dump my hand here. I'm going to get 6 mana in addition to the 5 I already have, so I'll just get to play my 2 most expensive cards. Yeah, it seems about right. Maybe it was correct to play Phantom Monster instead of Sultai Flare to get more air power going. But I figure with Assault Formation out, we'll get a bigger butt out, which deals a little bit more damage if I decide to send it in. Still has 2 cards in hand. They better be good. Is this another Ivy Elemental? Okay. Real Predation, that's not a bad one. But he only has 1 card now. So even if it is a Mana Drain or a Condescend, it's not the end of the world. He can Condescend for 3, so I can't quite pay for it, even if I play my land first. I will play my land anyway, though. Let's chip in with the Sultai Flare before we do anything else. For 4. And play the monster. I feel like he might have a counterspell as his last card, based on how he's been playing. Condescend makes sense here. But he might not. He might have just been holding up Aerial Predation this whole time. But like that one turn he played Phantom Tiger and left up 2 mana suspiciously. Oh my goodness. Okay. It's marginally better than a Condescend. Still not the end of the world though. Oof, alright. Quite the turnaround. Interesting. Here, let's send in with the Sultai Flare. Pump once. Play the Wall of Roots, so we are winning this race. Take 4. That's interesting. Probably don't want to send with that Lotus Cobra. Don't know if he knows if he's walking into an ambush. Oh, unless he's planning to use Repeal. Okay, that makes sense. Fair enough. Still winning this race by a little bit. Use a Spell Fist. Right, send him with the Flare. See if he wants to jump. No. So pump once. Play Wall of Roots. Could still lose this. If he draws a spell to turn on the Spell Fist, we will. For example. What is this? Demonic Wall getting back. Yeah, we actually need to draw something here. This is not great. Plains. That's not good enough. It would have been good enough, but now we know he has Cryptic Command in hand. Man. So he can just go chump chump, and then he has 6 damage that I can't block. But I'll do this. Don't have a way to kill my own creature to gain some life. I think we're just gonna lose here. Yep. Play Kiga. Pretty brutal, but it was a very interesting match. And I think despite going 1 and 2, it was a very interesting 1-2, and I still like my deck. We got to Mana Drain a Mana Drain, so achievement unlocked, first of all. I think my opponent top decked very well, for another thing. Yeah, he has multiple ways to present lethal. Alright, so an unfortunate 1-2, but certainly still an interesting match set, and I still learn things. We got turned forward by a Kiln Fiend, and we got Cryptic Commanded plus Mana Drained out in that last round. But like I said, still like my deck. Our deck could have been better if we moved in on it earlier. We could have had some jungle barriers to go along with our assault formations. We could have maybe gone in a little harder on that. So still kind of learning the mechanics of how early to jump into the specific synergy archetypes in the draft format, or in the draft portion of the draft. But I'm definitely still enjoying this format a lot. Lots of interesting games to be played and draft decisions to be made. So either way, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.